Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Channel Zero, Butcher's Block, Episode 2. It is called Father Time. So, full spoilers for the episode, as per usual. And we ended last episode with Joseph Peach, the weird character played by Rutger Hauer, kind of appearing to Zoe as she was trying to leave town. And, it was just kind of saying, hey, nice to meet you, pun intended, and then that was where we cut. But obviously there was sinister implications. This episode, she just kind of shows back up, and she's missing for a while. Like Alice is trying to contact her on the phone, and it's not happening. And then she just kind of shows up and is like, "Hey, I'm cured."
Yeah, just because she is. At that point, that's how she says it. It's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm cured. Yeah, schizophrenia gone.
Yeah,
Done.
there was a dude.
Yeah, and then obviously there's a really kind of chilling flashback. They keep they sort of start with this and then they come back to it later on in the episode where we see kind of the violent incident that the mother did,
Yes.
like what she actually did that got her sent to hospital permanently. So, well, presumably, long term anyway. She could get better, but
She could, but she's definitely been there a while.
yeah, it's not a type of illness that tends to just go away after a while. Hence why Zoe being like, "Oh, I'm cured. It's fine. A guy did a thing.
Yeah.
Good. It's not schizophrenic anymore." So that's all good. So that goes down sort of a rabbit hole of investigation, and then the sort of the B plot, if you want to call it, we have a plot following a man in a 1950s style suit, and that interacts with the police officers we kind of met. Mainly the main one, Luke.
Yes.
And that's kind of our two plots of the episode. So, I guess we'll just pick one. I guess. Well, I think we'll go with the cop plot first, just because it kind of feeds back in to the other plot towards the end. And yeah, so early on, like they're looking like, what's her name, Louise, the landlady. Like, it's like, okay, so where did you see this Joseph fella? Because she's like, oh, that's the guy who was in the Peach family. Like, this is his whole thing, and he died. We found out in this episode that his daughters were both killed. Someone killed his daughters in the woods, and that's kind of like maybe why they're haunting the place. Why there's a curse on everything, where they keep taking people because he's pissed his daughters were killed, and so they go out and try and find. And she sees the little baby monster dude, and chases him. Sees the staircase and sees this guy in a suit
Yes.
come out of the staircase and walk wherever, and they call the police. I'm not entirely sure their
What they
basis for
expected.
yeah, like the first time last episode when they called them because a mother and a daughter went missing, that makes sense to me. I'm not sure what they were reporting exactly here. Sure, we know what they saw was creepy as shit, but
Is it police worthy?
yeah, like what are they going to say? Oh, there was a staircase that vanished, and there's a creepy dude in a suit.
Yeah, there was no crime committed.
Yeah, so I do have to question exactly just that thought process. I almost wish we got a scene where they debated whether or not they should call the police.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it.
Because I feel like one of them should have maybe said, "Hey, what are they actually going to say and do?" Like they seem surprised when they just kind of like, sure they're dicks about it, but like they're surprised when they just kind of fob it off as like, "Oh, what are we supposed to do? Guy in a 50 suit, there's a staircase. Where's the staircase?"
I know I'm supposed to be on the girl's side here, but it's hard not to feel like the cops are making sense when they're going, what do you want us to
Oh
do?
yeah, no, we know she saw what she saw, so we're not completely against her, but at the same time, I completely get why they're skeptical.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, this is a strange story. Maybe you think you saw something, maybe you didn't, but regardless, it's not here now. No one's been killed. There's no one missing.
There's no evidence of anything. There's no foul play. Like, what
Yeah,
exactly are we reporting here?
yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
You had a hallucination. From their perspective, you had an hallucination, and you're telling us about it. What am I putting down on paper? What are we actually investigating?
Yeah,
Not a whole lot to go on. That said, before long, said man in the 50s suit ends up around and interacting with Luke because he attacks the scissor lady. We see her briefly, and she's playing with dolls at the junkyard or whatever, and he chases her around, and he's going to attack her. And he happens to do this right on top of their police car. They're parked. They're having lunch or
it's
whatever.
convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. You say convenient. I say intentional.
That was the implication.
Yeah, yeah, intentional on his behalf. He wants to interact with
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
old Luke here, and Luke just kind of like, hey, you're attacking someone, get down, and cuffs him and takes him in for assault, as you do.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
proper crime.
Proper crime, and this is all fine. It all plays out as expected. He's very creepy, of course. He says very cryptic things.
Yeah.
He keeps talking about, oh, you're just energy that's going to turn to other energy, or we're just waiting for that to
Yeah,
happen.
and he goes, what energy? He goes, calories.
Yeah, because he says that to his jail cellmate, and so that's fine. He leaves him there. It's kind of creepy, a bit unsettling, but not a whole lot to really go on. Until, of course, he comes back. Obviously, we get one little scene where like the other jail cell guys try to like pick a fight with him, and you get the sense he's out of his depth. But when Luke comes back, he sort of slowly, you can tell there's something wrong because he's walking slowly, very slowly around the corner, like he's very worried about what he's about to see. And he still can't see what's in the cell. He just sees like a splash of blood come out, just like a little lump of flesh with some blood just sort of
Yeah.
flying out of the cell. And then he gets up, and mysterious suit man is lying naked on the floor next to the other man who he has cut open, is now consuming parts of his flesh, and there's just kind of blood everywhere. He's kind of covered in blood. He's soaking, he's bathing in it practically.
It's pretty fantastic.
It's pretty grim. And we cut to later, and there's like the coroner's in. They're taking him up. They've got him in a body bag and all the rest of it. But Luke's just fixated on the blood because he's the bad guy who's drawn a mouse in the blood, because that's something he said to him earlier on. He called him a mouse.
Yes.
You're not like the scary person. You're not a bear. You're a mouse. You're a little mouse, and he's drawn a mouse in the blood.
It's the classic, isn't it? Are you a man or a mouse?
Yeah, sure.
The implication being, no, you're a coward.
Oh
You're
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
do
I mean
anything.
that's the implication clearly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, and then his dad shows up, who's the chief of police. We kind of established that last episode, and he's like talking to him, like, he's fine, fine. We're taking him elsewhere. These guys are going to take care of it. It's out of our hands now. This is above and beyond what we do. And of course, the entire time, Suitman's just in the cell next, just looking over. And when he comes, when Luke comes back around the corner again, he was just waiting for him to reappear because he's looking right where he stands. It's so. I was into all this. Creepy
Yeah,
Suitman.
he's got a real presence, hasn't he?
He's got. Do you know the thing was? I wasn't necessarily feeling it when he first walked out. It was like, okay, so there's a guy in a suit. Like, what's going on here? And when he got arrested, I still wasn't really quite feeling it. It was like, okay, he's speaking cryptically, whatever. I've seen this before. When it got to naked eating the other guy in the cell, that's where I'm like, okay, we have something here.
Yes. So I assume he is also a peach, right?
Well, like, that's an assumption. Like, I think later on in the episode it confirms that.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't sure if it was just outright confirming it or just
Oh
implying.
yeah, because even before you get to that scene, like I saw him on our wall. Like I saw him on the wall and said
Okay.
eldest son underneath. So even before she said that, the dinner scene, like I already kind of picked up on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because she has like the wall with all the family tree.
She does, but I wasn't paying too much attention to it because I'm like I'm getting the glimpses and seeing
Yeah.
it all, but I wasn't looking at the individual photos
'Cause
too much.
That stuck out to me just because I think they intentionally framed it so his face was just a bit more obvious on the wall because we'd just seen
Yeah, that
him
makes sense.
do all this
Yeah.
other stuff. So he stuck out to me. I didn't notice though on the wall the woman from the opening, who we do see later on in the dinner scene. We actually opened the episode with this weird commercial for their meat products from the 50s.
It's like, screw you, vegetarians. Is basically the commercial.
Kinda. I mean, you say that, but to me it reads more like a propaganda film. It's just the propaganda happens to be meat.
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
cause. They're advocating the eating of meat because the kids are like, Mom, why do we eat pigs? Like, oh honey, that's just like asking why we eat chicken or anything else. And she has that fake TV smile that she's doing the whole time as she's bashing the meat in. It was very
with the
surreal opening.
tenderizer.
With the tenderizer, yes. So no, I actually really liked the opening. I thought the opening gave me more style and sense of humor than
It had a tone to it, didn't it?
yeah, more than what the first episode had. Because as much as I liked a lot of the first episode, I feel like this was kind of nailing. Okay, I'm getting what the tone of this season is supposed to be, and it was again later on when we see Suitman eating the other prisoner. The music kicks in. It's this upbeat music. It's very
Yeah.
it's clashing with the tone of the scene, and it's creating like a different concoction than what it normally would be. Because you could easily play that with really creepy music if you wanted to, but instead it's this upbeat music, and then he turns, his face is covered in blood, and he smiles at Luke. He smiles while he's drenched in blood. So it's It's an
It's great
effective
stuff.
moment. It's an effective moment. But Luke is freaked out enough that he actually follows these agents that come to get him, and to his surprise, these people are clearly either possessed, haunted by the Peach family, even beyond the grave.
On the take.
Well, yeah, well, that's the weird thing, though. On the take from who?
No, it's a good question.
They're ghosts. Or something akin to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're seeing them interact with the world, so maybe they just have cash.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll accept on the take in principle, but I don't necessarily think it's as simple as they just get paid, because it's weird to me. They're not real people, they're ghosts. So, I don't know. Like, maybe certain people get something out of, like, them making people disappear. I don't know.
It could be, yeah.
I don't know. But I think that's making it really simple, when it's not that simple.
I mean, I'm just saying it could be. It's probably not, but it could be.
So you think there's a chance they're literally just being paid cash to be...
I'm saying it's unlikely, but it's possible.
In the same way that a corrupt cop in another movie or show would be on the take from like a crime syndicate because they look the other way.
I think it's possible, is all I'm saying. There's nothing to rule it out other than the fact that this is a creepy show, so it's probably something creepier.
I'm just saying, they're not alive. It's a bit weird to me.
I don't think it matters if they're alive or not. They interact with the world.
Where are they getting money? Where are they getting the money?
They've clearly got it stashed somewhere.
Their house literally appears and disappears out of thin air, as does their staircase, might I add.
Look, they could have it stashed somewhere in the real world.
So you're telling me that Rutger Hauer appears in the world, goes to his little Heidi, who's got a little hole that he's dug with a tin of cash in it. He takes out some cash, pays off some detectives.
All I'm saying is, if they can interact with the world to a point where they can be put in handcuffs and put in a cell, they could have money out there. They may be ghosts, sort of, but they're not ghosts in the traditional sense of they can't, like ghosts go through walls and stuff like that. They are corporeal beings that interact, so there could be cash.
There could be. I just think it's a really silly idea to think about. Like, just to think about them going to the little deposit box and getting the cash out to pay the detectives.
God, you know what? I wasn't that bothered about this, but I really hope there is now.
If I was to make a guess, is that the agents that come aren't entirely alive either, or there is some sort of sinister pact with the Peach family beyond the grave where someone's benefiting from them taking people, and that's why from higher up that they help them out.
Yeah, most likely.
That'd be my guesses at the current juncture. But
yes.
So Luke kind of follows me back into the park, which kind of leads us into what happens with the other plot, where ultimately, so they get Zoe back. It's all kind of weird. They're trying to figure things out. It's like, okay, we're talking about the whole family. We find out about the daughters. I do like how it cuts to just that one shot of like the legs of the daughters hanging over the bridge. I thought that was nice and creepy. Nice visual moment. We also actually had some creepy shots of the meat monster dude, just with some candles around him. Like,
it was, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was that.
It's still not working as much as the Tooth Child, but it's not bad.
Nah. Suitman's way better than Meat Man.
Oh, definitely.
Right now, anyway. That's my stance on that. But they get invited, or specifically, Alice gets invited. And I don't think it's a coincidence that her name's Alice, Alice in the Wonderland. Like, and this is like a demented Wonderland. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's an intentional choice to call her Alice. But she gets invited to dinner in the park. And when she gets there's this big dinner table with chairs.
It's like a big banquet, isn't it?
Yeah. And she brought Louise with her, and there's a chair for her as well. But even though they point out that we did not invite her, but you know what, I will not complain. But
they expected it anyway.
Yeah, but then weird things like Louise kind of disappears when there's a house appears around them, or if she doesn't when the first appears around them, she disappears when it changes again to a different room because it changes a couple of times.
It does, yeah.
And again they're talking about meat. It's like, I hope you're not vegan.
Yeah, they're really pushing this, aren't they?
Yeah, and of course I'm naturally thinking, okay, what is this meat? Like,
yeah,
it might look like ham right now, but I'm not.
Definitely human meat.
Yeah, I'm not trusting any of this. And sure enough, we end up getting to when it's just Rutger Hauer, just Peach and Alice, and she's like, "I'll show you what I did to your sister," because she asks like a bunch of times, and she's kind of like frozen in the chair, she can't move, and he gets out his tools, his weird contraption, and he kind of like slices a circle into her head, and you see like, there's this clump of hair come down with a bit of flesh sticking to it, and right in front of her, and she just see a little. My favorite part of this, all honestly, is the blood, the single like drip of blood going down her face. And
That's really good.
I'm not intentionally giving you the finger, by the way. I just realised I was bringing it down.
I'm used to it. No, that was really good, but it was when the mirrors come up, and it's not showing it directly; it's showing it through the mirrors, which I feel is really effective.
Well, this is where you get really trippy, yeah, because you see it from her perspective through, like, because she's holding the mirror, then he's holding a mirror behind her head, the classic to see behind your head kind of thing. And then it gets really trippy, because then the manifestation in her brain of what will one day be schizophrenia, which kind of has her face on it. And you recognise, because she has quite a notable gap in her front teeth, and that's actually what's really noticeable about it. You can tell she's got the same mouth, and she's like, it's this little monster inside her brain. And this is when we cut back to the teased of the violent incident from her mother earlier on, where this time we see that the sisters go to the room to see what's going on, and her mother's naked, and she runs at her and stabs Zoe multiple times in the stomach, which is really dark, by the way. This is probably my favourite scene in the episode, mainly because it is ridiculous and as trippy as the little monster in her brain is. The fact that it was intercutting between that, her with the blood coming down her face, the thing in the brain, the emotional music that was playing, it was actually a really effective scene, which I don't necessarily think I was expecting. Like, just like at this point, I don't know how much I care about the characters necessarily, and I feel like this almost went above and beyond what I would have expected they could make me feel in a scene, if that makes sense.
No, it's true, because as much as last week we praised the strong character work, it's only the episode 2. I don't expect to be really invested in characters at this point on any show, really.
Yeah.
So them landing these moments this early is a really good sign.
Yeah, because I would never have guessed this, even just like 10 minutes before this scene happened. It was just the combination of all this, the shock of what the mother did, the emotion of her being worried that she's going to one day get schizophrenia as well, all of it combined. And, I don't even think you can necessarily say it's definitely in her head or not. I mean, obviously there's not a literal monster, but just the idea that she's scared of it, therefore in this nightmare world, and Rutger Hauer's exposing these fears that it's there because of that. It's a manifestation from her rather than being something that's actually physically there. Whether or not she's going to get ill or not later on.
Yeah, and I think that'll be part of the fun of, as the season goes on, is there something physically there that they're exploiting for this, or is it just a manifestation?
Yeah. Or is she fixed now? Did they fix her?
Well, I mean, even if that's true, we know there are side effects, as he puts it.
Yeah, we get this really nightmarish moment, actually, where Zoe is like hearing his voice inside her head, and it's like the demonic version of his face that kind of like, it's almost like kind of like that bit in Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy's putting his head through the wall. It's kind of like that, but it's more like a liquid. Imagine that, but in a liquid.
Yeah.
Almost like imagine mercury on top, like a small amount of mercury on top of a pool of blood, and his face is coming through that. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, just about.
So you've got like a sort of regular sort of watery liquid underneath, and then you've got this thicker kind of forming liquid on top.
Yeah, and then almost like a little film over the top as well.
Yeah, but then his face goes away again. But it sort of like flickers to that from his real face at one point. Like, I think those visuals and the surprising emotion of the backstory is actually kind of what's really taken me in this. And then obviously the suit man's whole reveal of what he did to the prisoner. I feel like those were the big highlights of the episode, and they all really worked. Honestly, I mean, I'm pretty immune to most icky stuff in horror movies and stuff like that. The only thing that I had a remote problem with in this episode is that I'm not particularly fond of maggots. So, Rutger Hauer picking a maggot up in his hand was like, "What are you doing? No, don't do that."
You can tell you've never been fishing, have you?
Oh, no.
You can tell.
I ain't touching no maggots.
You get used to it pretty quick.
The vile little things.
They stop bothering you after like the third one.
I don't want to get the third one.
Yeah, you get used to it. It's fine.
The first one. It's particularly a pack of maggots though. When when you see it in the dead bird and it's just lots of them. I'm like, ugh, maggots. Oh. Vile little creatures.
Oh well, nice. Now you have a weak spot.
Oh, I know your weak spot. I can actually go and get some syringes that I can wave on the camera to upset you.
Yeah, you probably could.
I'm putting an order in tonight. Amazon, send me syringes.
I hate that you probably can just order them on
You
Amazon.
probably can. I mean, they're probably just really crappy ones that are not meant for anything serious, but it doesn't matter. I assume it'll still freak you out.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, is it the proper sharp needle ones, or is just the action of, like, you know, pressing the plunger in? Is that enough to set
It's
you
more
off?
going into the skin. I don't like seeing the needles, with the when the liquid squirts out when they squeeze it a little bit and there's a
Okay.
tap. I don't like that, but I can watch that. It's when it goes into the skin, it's like, nope, I'm looking away now.
Are you familiar that in Saw 2 there's a scene where a woman falls into a pit of needles?
Oh, I know. I can't watch that bit. Not that I want to watch that movie anyway.
That's
but
not very good, yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. But there is a desire to sort of trick you into seeing that clip.
it's fine. As soon as I click on it and see what it is, I'll just turn it off.
I'll find a way. Hey, it's not like I'm threatening to put you in a pit of needles.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not that
know.
cruel.
Not yet.
You keep testing my patience. Maybe one day we'll get there. Maybe one day we'll get there.
Yeah.
Dear.
But no, I did like this episode. I like some of the other world building stuff as well that we got with what's her name, Louise?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cop, where she mentions that she kind of did something, wrote a story about his father.
Yeah. She was a journalist. Yeah. We
Yeah.
kind of knew from the first episode because
We
she's still
we knew
kind of.
that, but
Yeah.
but the idea of, okay, she wrote something about him that was clearly damaging enough at the time to his reputation, but he's still chief of police now.
Yeah, which makes me wonder if he's he's not just unaware that these people are working for the Peaches.
No,
that he's
and
also
he does
in on it.
brush off the man in the suit, but he's like, yeah, we'll send it down the chain. It's fine, not our problem.
Yeah. He just wants his son to ignore it. Yeah, just leave it.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's something more to learn with that there, and that's to do with all this.
And to be fair, like he says his son, he was the sensitive one. Like his brothers were always, warriors, but he was the
Yeah.
sensitive one. Which I think just twists the knife of the mouse comments a little bit right
Yeah,
after he's just
definitely.
heard that or seen the mouse and the blood. So, not to mention just the absurd, the absurd horror of seeing it in that context, in the blood of a dead man. Like, it's one thing to be called a coward, just, outright in another way. Like, it's one thing to make the mouse image out of, say, I don't know, like pour a milkshake in the ground and draw it in that, compared to, no, the blood of a dead man.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
It's a statement.
It is.
So,
It's like, nah, you can't cope with this.
Yeah. And, even at the dinner scene, they flat out mention basically that they're taking people because, like, they deserve to be taken because of what happened to his daughters. So, they just kind of set that up. And I wonder if we get more of the family, because there's more family there. There's the granny's there, his wife is there, obviously his eldest son, who's Superman. He's got another son who's a bachelor, and it's Superman's wife who was in the opening ad
Yes.
for the meet. So I'll be interested to see if we get some more tidbits of these things. And one thing as well, I don't think they outright say who the demon child is, but as he's describing his family, when it cuts to him, he mentions that even some of our enemies have become allies in some ways,
Yeah.
or something to that effect. So I wonder if, like, the reason why he looks like that, why the demon child looks the way he does, is because he was an enemy and has, like, come around.
I wonder if the same could be said for the meat monster.
Yeah. Or is the meat monster just a manifestation of the evil that's come from their meat?
Yeah, it's the leftovers.
Yeah, leftovers. It's all the people they've killed and eaten. All the leftovers have formed this just embodiment of demonic evil.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I'm looking forward to, even though I think the design's still kind of, it's all right. I'm looking forward to learning more about the meat monster.
Yeah. That could be interesting. I think the eldest Peach was Robert. He's Superman. The brothers Aldous, and then you got Edie Peach, who's the wife, and then Evelina Peach, I think, is the wife of the granny. No, that's wife, because the granny Peach is just called Grandma Peach. That makes it easy. There you go.
That solves that problem.
That solves that problem. Yeah, I'm just looking at the names here, just in case they become
Yeah.
important. Although, to be honest, I'm still okay with Superman and Bachelor to call the brothers, and then Ad Lady for his wife. I feel like those will work well enough. But Yeah. But no, it was a solid second episode. I think I'm more invested in the story than I was after the first one, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely turning up the creep factor a bit more in terms of it actually played into what was going on rather than just being random moments like the last episode.
Yeah, because at first I was really liking the Superman stuff in the prison, but at the time it was kind of random. But then it tied into everything else later when he was at the table with the rest of the family.
Yeah, and like the stuff going into her brain, which is obviously very creepy, had a lot more context than anything last week did.
It did, and it's also probably the emotional core of the show so far. It's her
Yeah.
fears of what she's going to do because of her family.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
So no, and if this all ends up being about a fear of mental illness, that's a unique, core theme and concept to explore. That does make it, because we were a little bit worried that if she has to get her sister back, that's maybe a little too similar to season 2 with her trying to get her friend back.
Yeah.
So that makes it definitely more unique, and not just in the sense of Channel Zero. I just think it's a fairly unique premise in general. The idea that you're terrified of mental illness, and this is kind of the dark like manifestation of that, like of trying to avoid that and stay sane. How do you stay sane when all these insane things are happening around you?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm looking forward to seeing what it does with this now.
Yeah. So there you go. That is episode 2 of Butcher's Block. So we'll see how episode 3 ships out next week. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mail_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show and the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's a link in the description. But you can have a look over there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. Have you got any vanilla?